Oh, fuck. Hey, yo. Looks like we're gonna start coaching a little bit today, so let's see. Alright. So, quick recap. R is my client. He got the Amazon offer for basically about 210 total compensation first year with 1 year of experience. Got put at a very high L3. And so he just did his Google on-site 2 days ago, Tuesday. He heard back and he's going to hiring committee. So chances are there's a very good chance that he gets an offer of some kind from Google, and then he's also moved onto the Uber on-site. And so we're going to talk a little about that and hopefully get some insight into how he's feeling, what he's doing, and we're going to talk a little bit about the steps ahead. We still have 2 more interviews, and very specifically, what I want for him is to score an L4 offer from Facebook and Uber. Now, whether or not that happens is going to be completely determined by the next 2 weeks. And so, right now we have some pretty good results. Very high Amazon offer. We might be able to get a very high Google offer as well. But what I really want is to get an L4 offer from Uber, an L4 offer from Facebook, and then leverage that into a potential L4 offer at Google. Yeah, Facebook and Uber, and then leverage that into an L4 offer at Google. See if we can get them retested, and that will basically put us on a whole fucking another level. So, if anyone has any questions about me coaching, what we're doing today, anything, we will go. Feel free to ask right now. We have 15 minutes before he's supposed to show up, and anything that we've done. So you can actually have seen all the sessions that we've done since day one on my channel. There's no tricks here. You see every single little bit of progress that he's made. Sometimes we take a little break. Sometimes we taper things off. And basically, we started from almost nothing for both the coding interview and for the system design interview, and we're basically breaking level.fyi records here. So, Google Onsites too. Yeah, he just did his Google Onsite on Tuesday, which is why we didn't do a coaching session on Monday. I wanted him to have enough time to relax. So let me describe something. So basically, for the first, I would say 5-6 weeks, we go really fucking hard, as much as possible. And then weeks 7 and 8 is when we start tapering off. But not only because this is the time when people start getting burnt out, but it's also a great way to segue into the coding interview. Because please create a different playlist of different clients. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. But basically, we start tapering off at around weeks 7 to 8. Only because I want the client to go into their first interview feeling mostly relaxed. And we want to get some feedback signal. And for us, that was Amazon. We wanted to get some feedback based on how he was doing, what he could improve on, etc., etc. And based on our Amazon results, he was a little tense, but he still managed to score a very high offer. And so I thought that, well, if we can get him to relax a little bit more, then it'd be fine. But he still was working on he was still very, very giga focused on mechanics. And I'm trying to get him to really let go of that obsession with mechanics and start making music, let it flow. And I think based on what he's talked about with me privately for Google, it sounds like that we've reached that point, but we're going to see today. We're going to talk a little bit about his Google interview today, and hopefully he has some more insight to share. But that's basically my take. Going into week 7 and 8, which is where we're kind of which was last week, we want to see some more relaxation from the client, so that way they can execute what they've been working on. And then starting week 10 and 11, which is this week and next week, we want to fire on all cylinders. We want to make sure that we close out by week 12 before the fat starts setting in. Because, these offers that are coming in, my biggest fear is that he's going to get complacent. And so what I'm asking is that this week, he just gives me 1 or 2 more weeks of very, very hard study. That hopefully by the beginning of next week, we schedule Uber, and then we finish very strong on Facebook next week. So we have effectively 7 to 10 days to make this happen. So, do I think grokking the coding interview properly is enough to clear the coding rounds? In theory, yes. If you practice the way I told you how to practice, then you will be able to at least clear the phone screen. You might run into a little bit more trouble in the sense that, hey, well, you might get some weirdly weird curveball and you might not be prepared for that. So that's why I don't recommend you go 100% on the ones that you want, like the coding interviews you want for the phone screen, unless you've done at least a little bit of elements of programming interview. And once you cleared, like, maybe I would say half of elements of programming interview, then you're probably ready for the phone screens. And that's basically what we've done. So if you watch the coaching sessions that we've done for a particular client, then you'll see that we basically started him doing phone screens for him when he was basically halfway done with elements of programming interview and was pretty much done with grokking. So you can actually see in our coaching sessions that we've done exactly that. How can I flex my system design architectural knowledge in coding interviews for interns in L3? You will never get a system design or architecture for interns in L3. I think that, I mean, I definitely have more to say on this, but the bottom line is that if you are any kind of competent engineer, the system design interview is not different from the data structure and algorithm interview. The reason all that changes is the domain knowledge. Instead of covering hash maps, you're covering sharding. Instead of covering, two pointers, you're covering you're covering where to put the cache and how to handle your ingestion pipelines. That's really it. But the logical terms of thinking and going from a naive solution to an optimal solution and growing your solution and then diving into the details, that does not change. So to me, it makes no difference for doing system design or coding interviews based on that. My main is JavaScript, so should I go for API Java? I mean, you can pretty much tell what the coding stuff is if you just pick up even Python, the Python version. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the flow of your logic is exactly the same. And fortunately, Elements of Programming Interview does a very good job at that. I personally do Java, but I will, even when I practice, I just do the pseudocode, like the Python, almost the Python equivalent. So it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't say don't completely change your programming language, because fundamentally all programming languages do exactly the same thing. Like a hash map get in Python is not different from a hash map get in Java. So it doesn't matter what programming language you use. It literally does not. Anyone who says otherwise is fucking full of shit. C plus Shopify not... No! Shopify! They launch NFTs? Holy fuck. Sell NFTs on Shopify! Oh my god, it actually happened! Holy fuck! Wait, 100,000 million... 10 billion total NFT sales in Q3 of 2021. Oh, no, not like this, man. What happened to... okay, hold on. Let's see what the Shopify price action is. Not like this, man. Yeah, no. Looks like they just got... the entire stock price just still got shit on. 1 day, 5 days. Yeah, no price action. Holy fuck. Airdrops, content gating, Why? No, not like this, dude. Fucking sellouts. What have you done? Oh my fucking god. No. Okay. We're fucking boycotting Shopify. Fuck this. No. Okay, fuck this. Okay, let's see. Mess with DNS. This could be interesting. Previous mitigations may not be enough. Dungeons and Dragons, a case... What? Okay, hold on. There's been a big rise in monitoring works from work at home. We should all be worried. Yeah, this is a known issue. I mean, like, your fucking Mac computers is managed by fucking, what's it called? The company. So I imagine there's, like, some tracking software, So I'm not surprised. Yes, this is basically really bad. Surveillance technologies, you're basically monitoring people in their own homes. I think that's arguably a breach of privacy and security, actually. That this is actually probably legal grounds. I feel like there should be some software actually to see whether or not you are actually being tracked. And I think the younger workers are being surveyed more. Man, this is like some fucking dystopian shit, man. Okay, so as well as ethical question. Yeah, potentially breaching GDPR policy. Dude, holy shit, if your company's tracking you, this right now is really fucking bad. Holy fuck. Long hours, pay, transparency, culture, progression, diversity, of rise of unethical tech are all issues of our agenda. Yeah, I mean, fuck. It's like, you know what you sign up for with these companies. I think that's part of the problem. It's that we're willing to sell out a lot for a high pay. Don't get me wrong, like, I sell out in some way, in the sense that is Uber a company that I necessarily agree with and all its practices? Not necessarily. But I find that the engineering and the people I work with are actually really, really, like, phenomenal. Like, this was a chance to work on a big mega app, and, like, I've always had an interest in working with, like, some really intricate shit, like the compilers, how Android APKs work, and I thought this was a fantastic opportunity to do that. So, that's kind of like my reasons for joining Uber, even though I don't necessarily agree with it as a business. But I do think that they're trying their best to do what they can. That's what I'll say about that. But my point here is that we all sell out for something, and that's just like life, you know. You don't get something without giving up something. And in this case, we just kind of we just work for companies that we don't 100% have our hearts in. But you know, what company would you work for that does? You know, there's no perfect company. Would you say it's best to hit up startups and ask for work for free if you aren't able to land a summer internship? Yeah, that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. I literally worked for free my freshman year. My sophomore year, for summer, I worked for $4 an hour. So I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, you know. And then junior year, I was working for below minimum wage at startups to make my bills pay, and then senior year as well. So I didn't have the luxury of getting a FANG internship. I was literally working for free and below minimum wage for like 3-4 summers, and then like full year during my senior year. So, if you take what you can get, you know, like try to make something out of nothing. That's what I'll say about it. So even if you can't get an internship from someone and no one wants to take you for free, make a project on your own that you think is gonna have value. Because no matter what, even in the case like it doesn't go anywhere, if you make something that fucking that you're gonna genuinely use and enjoy, then that's perfect, you know. Let me give you an example, actually. Hold up. Let me see if I can get my Discord. Yeah. So, hold up. Let me open it. So let me show you something. So this is like this is a test Discord server that I use to test one of my projects, and it's called ValueBot. So if I type in something like ValueBot to do a valuation of, and this just values companies for me, and this is actually a great way I do my investments, actually. So you can see here, this result, this is my bot, by the way. It'll give you like the numbers, and if I download this, it'll show the numbers. Hold up, let me see where the downloads are. So it will actually value the company for you. If it will yeah. So it'll value the company for you. It'll tell you like what it thinks its beta compared to the market is, expected rate of return, tax rate, cost of capital, and they'll try to value the stock based on what it sees here and the numbers. And it'll actually tell you the numbers like revenue, EBITDA, debt, all this shit. And these are all my own calculations, you know. So if anyone wants to decipher these things, feel free to. I'm bleeding free alpha here. But basically, based on all that shit, I am like valuing the company and then seeing what it could potentially return here. And the point I'm trying to make here is that this is like an example of a project that anyone can do. I can do it, you can do it, anyone can do it on their free time, you know? And it's something that gives me an enormous amount of value, and I wrote this like maybe 9 months ago. I still use it to this day, and I'm still improving on it. And I think if you can come up with a project like this, that you still have use for and that other people can have use for, it's going to be a fantastic, great business model, great business idea, and you could potentially sell it. But at the very least, even if you didn't do this, you could actually, like, you know, you'll still have value out of it. So you don't lose out, in my opinion. You create a project that you believe in and that you think could make you money. It help pay your bills. It's not going to make you, like, fucking rich. It might make you like $500 to $1,000 a month for like 2 years, but that's enough to get like to feed your food bills and your rent as a college student. The point here is take what you can get, and even me, I'm still doing side projects all the time. Microsoft is my new friend, maybe. Same story till now. I'm a junior. Yeah, like I said, learn from the right people, do the right thing, and just invest in yourself always. For each one of these projects, do something new, learn something new. Don't do the same shit over and over again. Like, each time I was doing the projects back in my junior year, I was basically doing Android apps all the goddamn time. And I would learn a new library. Like, I would learn how fragments work. I would learn how SQLite works on Android, and I would basically write a library that would basically wrap all these different features for me, right? And so because of that, my billables went up. So when you're doing contract work, it's your billable. You build a client based on your billable hours, right? So let's say it takes me 12 hours to write an app. That's 12 billable hours, right? But suppose that 8 of those hours were basically me just writing the same code that I've always had from like another project. You know, maybe it's like the core library. I can just copy paste that core library. That's like an hour there. And then spend 4 more hours just wrapping it to give what the client wants, right? Now, in total, I've spent 5 hours of work, right? But the billables are still 12 hours because I need to account for the time I wrote that library. That is part of the billable hours. So, and what I learned was that when doing these projects, every single person was basically asking for the same kind of app. Some kind of quote-unquote social app like Instagram, but for X, like, you know, pets, food, whatever. So all I had to do was basically create an Instagram-like core that was just going to be like, you know, push, pull features, getting push requests, getting all that, and then rendering them into the same exact UI that Instagram was. It was Instagram clones over and over again. So my billables were basically 12 hours, but the amount of time I was writing was 4 hours. But it still ended up being minimum wage only because the clients would often renege on like their pay, like say, oh, this is broken, and wouldn't pay until like we went back and forth over and over again for certain milestones. So effectively, it came out to minimum wage, but I was reducing the amount of time. And I think if anyone can optimize this, you can actually make a lot of money in consulting doing just that. Did I make an ML model for this? No, it's mostly just linear regressions in the back end. I'm not smart enough for machine learning, actually. And all these calculations that I showed you are basically just finance formulas that you can read in any book. Like, I'm not doing any funny shit here. It's mostly just a lot of linear regressions and trying to extrapolate that. That's it. So if you're doing anything to navigate your side projects through it, or do you just not bother? Does your company have an invention clause? I mean, yeah, there's a non-compete clause, so you need to declare whatever you invented beforehand and lay claim to it, and whatever you invent during your time at, like, you know, your company and you use their machines, then technically they do have a claim to it. So you do need to declare whatever side projects you're doing and try to get that cleared. But most times, 9 out of 10, your manager's going to give you the okay because chances are it doesn't actually compete with what the fuck the company's doing. So for instance, this value bot, like, I'm going to tell you that I didn't let anyone know about it, but
recording
it's like,
in progress.
It's like, I didn't let anyone know about it, but it's not competing with Uber. You know, I don't think Uber's going to get into financial investments like this. Is there much of a difference between an intern versus being full-time entry level at a FANG company? Yeah, I would say that you definitely get more experience and more hands-on attention as a full-time employee, actually. So with that, let's actually talk to our guy. Yo, hello.
Hey, Edbert.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Sorry, I just saw your message from earlier.
That's fine. I was hoping that we could squeeze more practice in, but you know, we'll just leave it at the hour. So yeah. Catch me up on everything and how you're doing.
Yeah. I'm a little tired. Just because like you know from all the interviewing and like it's kind of hard to focus at work now too. Just like thinking about like what are the next steps and all that. But essentially, for everyone else, like I did the Google onsite on Tuesday, and then right after I did the onsite, I touched base with my recruiter, and I also got him know that I have a pending offer from Amazon. So he moved pretty quickly and came back to me on Wednesday and said like, hey, I got the feedback, and so I met up with him, and he said like feedback's pretty positive. So he went ahead and like set me up with like the team matching. I met with one of the hiring managers today. I'm gonna meet another one on Monday, and then make a decision, and then he's gonna submit to the hiring committee for approval. And then I also heard back from Uber on Wednesday regarding about moving to onsite, but I haven't heard back since then. So I plan to follow up with the recruiter tomorrow just to see what's up there, because he said he's gonna try to match me with some teams in order to do the onsite. But yeah, that's about it. But I guess like today we can kind of talk about like the Google rounds. If anything, I don't have like a video for us to replay, fine. But we can kind of go through.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to add on?
Yeah. No, this is basically what I expected. I know work's been taking a toll recently, so I kind of didn't want to give you the replay. What I wanted to do was like focus on the L4. Like basically based on what you've told me, on our feedback from Uber and Google and Amazon, your coding interview skills are pretty much at a good spot right now. I don't want to touch it too much because I think you could do some light review on the weekend. But what I want to do is actually try to nail down the L4, remember, because that's what we're shooting for. And I know that we haven't had too much practice with that.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be I'm seeing that's a problem. On a scale of 1 to 10 right now, based on how you're feeling, how tired are you? How close are you to burnout? How close, describe it to me.
Yeah, I would say like I'm pretty close. Like I would say like, between 7 and 8, just because like I'm at a point where I'm like, I just feel like I just want to be done with everything. That's kind of like what I feel like. That's why like at work, like it's so hard to focus, because even at work, I'm just like, I don't want to do all of this. I just want to like take a break. I don't like that. Yeah.
Could you take like personal time off at work?
I mean, I have like PTOs to take, but the thing is, because I also like took some time off to do the on-sites, I have to catch up on like the project work. And because I'm the only person working on that project, like I probably wouldn't be taking any time off. I'm gonna try to finish up the work on that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I might take some time off around New Year's, but probably not anytime soon right now. Also, because like if I were to do the Uber on-site next week, that's gonna be another day off as well.
Okay, I see. Let me think about how to structure this. The current threat right now is the mental state, the burnout. The moment you hit that 9 or 10, it's game over, right? That's in my view.
Yeah.
But I really want to do like system design a little bit here, but this is very difficult.
Yeah.
Let me think. What's your workload for the next... If you could schedule Uber on Tuesday, what's your workload looking like for Friday, Monday?
Friday, Monday?
Yeah. What does your workload look like on Friday? What does your workload look like on Monday?
Like next Friday?
Tomorrow.
Like I do have a lot of stuff I need to catch up on, also because I'm on call this week as well.
Fuck.
Yeah. It's definitely not a good time. But I could definitely still do like meet up on Monday. That's for sure. That was part of the plan. I'm not sure about tomorrow. That's the thing.
No, that's not. The reason why I'm asking is because I want to try and allocate your work, try to manage your work somehow. Because my fear is that if I put you through the Uber on site, you will burn out before Facebook's on site. That's my fear. So I'm not sure if we want to put the Facebook on site, because Facebook is the one we really want, right? Uber is just leverage.
Yeah, like I would say, if anything, like Facebook and Google are the only ones I want. Like I'm even cool with like the ones like Google, just because like I'm pretty interested in like the org that I got the offer from. So yeah, like pretty much like Google and Facebook are the only ones I want.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna give me like 2 minutes to run some things. Let me think.
Yeah.
This is really hard. On call this week. Okay, question. What have you been doing? Like you got to the on Google Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Wednesday, did you study or did you not study?
I did some light studying on DIA, just kind of reviewing like some of the index stuff.
Okay. Did you watch my video?
Yeah, I did watch a video as well. But also just because of my like mental state, I feel like I watched it, but I feel like I wasn't able to like absorb it as well as I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I get the general idea, but it's just like I feel like there's definitely more in the video that I could like learn from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's change gears. Instead of doing we can do system design at the end if we have time. But I want you to spend this hour with me, like relaxing, talking. You know, if you have something you want to shoot the shit with me for like 30 minutes, I think this might be a great way to relax, get some shit off your mind. How do you feel? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Yeah. Think of this 30 minutes as, or like hour if you really need to take it, as like your only obligation is to get into a very relaxed mode, talk about whatever's on your mind, whatever's stressing you out. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah, like I feel pretty happy about like, you know, at least like getting a positive feedback on like the Google interviews.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like because of like all the stuff we've been doing, I also just kind of reached the point of like not wanting to do anything again. And that's why like I didn't try to do anything on Tuesday, and so Wednesday I just did some light reading on DDIA, and I guess like I'm not really like stressed out about like Amazon on Google right now. It's just more so thinking about like like you mentioned L4. Like I'm not even too stressed out about like the coding part for like Uber and Facebook. I'm just also thinking like if I were to do the system design, would I even be ready? Because like I have a feeling that I'm not ready. Like I'm not confident to say like I can go in and like do well as much as like the coding interviews. Yeah, not to say like I can guarantee like I'll pass like coding interviews as well, but at least like with coding interviews I feel like I have a better chance. Like the probability of like doing well in them are definitely higher than system design.
Yeah.
Yeah, then this was just like thinking about like once I do get the offers, like which one would I want to like go with? Like I know originally like I really wanted to like get the L4 offer from Facebook, but at the same time like I'm pretty attracted to like the Google opportunity as well, mainly because like the one I got is for the I'll be essentially in the SRE org, so we're working like pretty closely with like the SREs and like all the info stuff. Like the hiring manager I met with today, like he talked about like his team. They mainly like support like the web search and like basically a lot of like the searching use cases at Google. So that's like things like I'm pretty interested in. So like yeah, just like thinking about like what kind of teams I want to go into and like what do I really want aside from like compensation. I guess that's like just been on my mind lately as well. So it's like that also made it harder to focus at work aside from all the burnout.
Yep, and your mental load. So let's try to. So it's like, oh, what's the future? What am I doing now? I see where the burnout's coming in. So let's actually deconstruct this a little bit.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're talking about. I ran into the exact same thing. You know, once I got my second offer out of like the last rounds I got from Google, from like what it was from Uber, and then LinkedIn, and then and then I fucked up because I'm like, I want this over to begin with. I scheduled Facebook and Google back to back, not also because I got pressured because of LinkedIn. The LinkedIn guy fucked me over. Like, oh, we're gonna time bomb on offer, and you guys need to get your shit done. You need to get like all your interviews in because we can't wait any longer. You know, I know what you're going through, and I had the additional pressure of like the recruiter like breathing down my fucking neck. So one of the things I thought was like really good to actually de-stress. And I learned this actually from my psychologist, and you know, just to be open about it, I do go to therapy for every other week, and we call it breathing in the flowers and blowing out the candles. So, whenever you get, I think you might feel this like this sort of tension, this stress, and you feel like kind of like caught dry heaving and vomiting. And this is like for me. Do you ever feel like that?
No, not really like that. But I guess like it's just like it's been very long. Like even this is way before like I even like contacted you for coaching. But like when I first got the job at Facebook, I was pretty happy. Like you know, I finally landed a job, and like it was so tough during the pandemic. But like I never really felt like I made it because I always wanted like a full-time position. So like even with the contract, it's just like oh, I got a job to like pay the bills and like you know I can kind of move on. But like eventually, I do need to like get my shit together and study and like actually interview for real. So it's just been on my mind for like a long time. I just never really got to it. And now that, you know, the past few months, I really like sat down and said like, okay, I'm hitting my like 1 year mark soon in September. Like I should probably get started and like knock this off. And so like finally, like at this point, I feel like it's been like such a long time that it's just like I'm like out of like I guess like mental gas to keep going. That's kind of where I'm at. And this was just like thinking about like what do I really want, and like in terms of like engineering, like what areas do I really want to work in? Like for example, like I could get an L4 offer from Facebook and an L3 offer from Google, but if if I have to go back to the same team at Facebook, like I don't know how I feel about that. The other side of me is like I kind of want to learn something different, and I've always been very interested in like going into infra and like doing more backend stuff. Like I could technically just like if I do get the alpha offer from Facebook, like obviously like I could go like I have to go into the boot camp and then I could choose my team after as well. But it would just be a pretty asshole move just because like the whole point of like me being even able to get an interview is just like my manager has been like trying pretty hard to push for that. So like, it will be like a big move for me to kind of like get the interview, get the job, and then like not go back to the team. So that's the other thing as well.
Yep.
Like just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, like I said, let's deconstruct it. So I want you to do this with me. So breathing in the flowers, blowing out the candles. So 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out. Okay, just do it with me. 1, do it 2 more times. 2, 1 more time. Okay, 3. So you have many things on your mind. I know where you're coming from because you're thinking about what your goals have been, and you've been thinking about that goal basically every single week for like, the past year essentially.
Yeah.
And now that you have that, you're thinking, well, I've reached my goal. I want to rest, but I want you to think about what happens in a year, 2 years. Like, do you probably see yourself still on that team, right? You see yourself progressing through your career, and this is assuming that it all works out, right? You didn't like the team isn't like selling you on a bad thing. Yeah. And I understand it's very easy to get caught in that dream, but there's always some level of risk. It maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe something else happens, right? Maybe they restructure and then you get punted, or you punt it to another team. Like right now, even the Facebook offer that you took is like, it's something. It's not the full package, but it was something that you took.
Yeah.
And you knew that eventually, because of the risk of it may not actually work out, you knew the next thing was coming. What I want to do is, for the next 10 days, I want you to give me your absolute 110, 120%, so that way you can be secured not just for the next year, but for the next 3-4 years. I want you to paint this scenario in your head. At an L3 level, it would take you 18 to 24 months to go to an L4. And then during that time, you would be doing exactly the same things that you would be doing now, just on a different piece of technology. And I'll tell you that for infrastructure, it's all pretty much homogenous. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're working on a back end, whether you're working on Android, 90% of the components are pretty similar. So that's part where it doesn't really matter. Once you hit infra, you'll realize everything kind of remains the same. And, you might just end up sticking at that team for 2 years and then having to bounce again. But I want you to imagine going into Google as an L4 and spending that same amount of time. In 3-4 years, you could get senior level anywhere you want. But if you go to Google as an L3, you spend 2 years as an L3, 2 years but then you get promoted to L4, but then you realize, wait, now I want to jump ship. Well, only other company is going to take you as an L4. I want you to think that it's basically 10 days of your absolute best in order to secure the next 4 years of your life.
So, does it take like that long to like get promoted to like L4?
It takes 2 years.
Oh.
Anyone inside, you're free to ask anyone inside Google. Google is very hesitant on promoting, and even beyond the L4 level, it's much harder.
Yeah, I know it's very slow. Like from L4 to L5, I never knew much about like L3 to L4. But I heard like many stories about like people just staying at Google as L4 for like the longest time.
Mm-hmm. Even I know people who are at Google for 7 years as an L3.
Damn.
Yes. And I want you to, I don't want to scare you, but
Yeah.
what if that ends up happening to you? You'll have to do this all over again. But if you can get in as a potentially L4, then this is no longer on your mind for 4 years. Why? Like you said, people are going to coast on L4 for like a long ass time. So 4 years down the road, you'll have 5 years of experience, you'll have Facebook, you'll have Google, you'll be a mid-level engineer. People will be drooling to take you in as a senior. And at that time, you can get like $400,000, $450,000. Or maybe you don't want to go somewhere else. Maybe you want to rest invest at Google. Well, at an L4 level, rest invest, you don't have to worry about promotion. I want you to imagine that. Imagine like not only just never having like imagine never having to worry about an interview ever again in exchange for just 10 days. 10 days of your life, never interview again. But if you drop it now, you know, it's fine. It's fine. You can get that L3 level, but then in 2 years, that clock's going to be up. And it's like, what if I want the promotion? You're going to be worrying about things then, you know?
Yeah.
I sense a little bit of tension. Do the breathe in, breathe out again. Come on, man. Just come on. I'll do it too. One. Two. Three.
Yeah, like that's also the other thing I was thinking about too. Because I was like on top of like everything I mentioned, I was also considering the fact that like, hey, like I would definitely be like pretty interested in like working at Google and like the stuff that they're working on. But at the same time, like you mentioned, like I would pretty much like start from the bottom, as L3, whereas like at least at Facebook, like my manager and my tech lead, they were already like, yeah, I think you could definitely go for L4. And like, yeah, I would pretty much like be setting myself back like a year in terms of time. But then that also conflicts with like what I really want to work on. But then like I've never really experienced like the like you said, infra being like all the same no matter what I work on. That's not something I knew as well.
I will say the problems at infra are very interesting, not well defined, and being in infra does set you up for very fast promotions. I will admit this because everyone in my infra stream usually gets promoted in like 2-3 years. The problem is that no one trusts
2-3 weeks.
What?
Wait, do you say
2-3 years? It's a lot easier to get promoted in infrastructure than it is in product. Now, that's also the problem because infrastructure is very, very important. It also carries with it a significant amount of risk. And so most people do not trust an L3 to handle their entire build system. In fact, even on my team, we don't hire we don't hire below an L4, even an upper L4. If you're mid L4, we would look at you with an eyebrow raised because you know you're given a significant amount of leverage, and like you said, it's very important. The search engine, right? You're mostly talking about handling one of Google's core businesses, and so do you trust a junior engineer to handle that?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, so the kinds of problems that you think you might be handling, well, you might not necessarily be getting them at the L3 level. But if you come in at the L4, that world changes.
Yeah, I guess like the other thing I was thinking too was just like that I prioritize as well is like joining a team that has like people I can really learn from.
Yes.
And like, you know, talking to the manager, like the team that he manages is like pretty big. Like globally, it's like 20 people. But I think like the pod that he manages mostly, it's like 18 people. He mentioned. And he even mentioned like because the whole SRE thing started at Google, one of the engineers on his team is also like part of like that very first SRE team at Google like many years ago. And it's like, yeah, like, you know, I feel like, you know, having engineers like that on the team would be like beneficial. Because like currently at my team, like the only place I could really like learn from is like that engineer you know about that does the mock interviews for me. Like he's pretty good. But he himself, like he's pretty busy too, and it's not like I could like always learn from him. But yeah, it's just like trying to get like different perspectives, and like look at like different people and how they do things. Because like right now I'm only looking at one person and learning from him, since like the other engineers left.
Believe me, I would have thought the exact same thing. Even today, I still think the exact same thing. If a junior engineer me got a shot at infrastructure, I'd take it in a heartbeat. I'm not going to disagree with your decision, actually. I would totally support it. What I'm trying to do here is try to show you that we want not just that. We want the best version of that. Because right now, we have a version of that, right? We have the L3 version.
Yeah.
We want the one that teaches you, that gives you the most opportunity to learn. And the best...
I guess like it's just like me not having like enough confidence that I can nail this system design within like such a short amount of time. I guess that's the other part, and also just like not knowing if Google would be okay with doing an extra round, and what if that also puts me at risk of like them just like simply taking back the offer if I do not do well in the system design. I guess like these are like the additional worries I have as well.
I see.
Because like I could always go back to them and say like, hey, like I got an L4 from like this so and so, like can we do an extra round? And what if I don't do well at that round? I guess like these also kind of factor into like the things I've been thinking about.
That's fair. I think I don't know. I'm pretty sure Google doesn't do that policy, but if they do, we can have that conversation then. Don't worry about what hasn't transpired, because there is no harm in going really hard at Facebook and Uber, getting those L4 offers, and then asking, and then at that bridge we can make that decision. But we can never arrive at that bridge if we don't have Facebook and Uber in our hand. We want to expand our options. Right, so don't worry about like, oh, what if it doesn't happen? Like, what if I fail at the Google offer? Well, that's 10 steps down the road. We need Facebook and Uber in order to even consider that situation. So let's look at the road ahead, and this is completely up to you. Like Uber and Facebook, if we want the best shot at giving you the best learning opportunities at Google, the best projects at Google for your level, it's going to have to be at the L4 level. So. And in order to unlock that, we need to make sure that you can get the Uber offer and Facebook offer. Look at how far we've come in just less in like 8 weeks, right? You basically started from nothing, and then like 6 weeks later, you were nailing Amazon phone screens. You were nailing phone screens left and right for coding interviews, and you got stressed out. And then like I give you that little talk, like, okay, let's taper off. Let's let's go, let's chill. And going into Amazon and Google, we focused on the relaxation. And you made fucking music, Google is thirsting to fucking hire you because they responded to you in a fucking day. Like, how many people...
That was pretty crazy. I did not expect him to come back within, like, it wasn't even 24 hours. Like, he, like, told me, like, and, like, he told me, like, hey, do you have, like, time tomorrow so we can chat? I was like, no, I have time now. We can chat now. Because I was so anxious when he told me that. I was like, I don't want to wait a day, like, the feedback. But, yeah, that was, like, pretty unheard of because I was, like, reading, like, posts online, like, everyone was saying like, oh, they take like at least like 5 business days to get back.
So you're breaking records, man. You broke the Amazon levels.fyi ban. You broke the turnaround time for Google. They want you. You can do this. Like, you are doing things that, frankly, I didn't expect you to do at the beginning. I thought you'd just be like normal middle of the road. But you're breaking records, man. And there's so many other records that you can break, Imagine going to an L4, talking to your friends, hey, I made mid-level with 1 year of experience. That'd be a great legacy, Like, you can show people, hey, blinders, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. I know what the fuck I'm talking about because I made L4 with 1 year of experience, And if it doesn't work out, fine. You don't have to tell that story. But you're not going to get a chance to tell that story unless you give it your all.
Yeah, and also the other thing too is I need help from you in terms of like how exactly I can study for like the Uber system design, because like it doesn't sound like you guys have like a product design like Facebook does, so it's probably like closer to the traditional one, I imagine, or like OOP like you mentioned. But like even with classic like system design, like I just want to know like if you like advice on like what exactly I should like work on. Should I just like start doing like exercises, like for example looking at questions online and like doing it myself, or like how would you recommend me to like kind of work on that?
Yeah, and that's what I'm here for, dude. I'm literally, remember, if you don't succeed, I don't succeed. And so it's in my best interest to make sure that you like you do like absolutely fucking phenomenally well, and that's what I'm here to do for you, you know. But I need to know that your heart and mind is in this. Your heart and mind's not in this. It's not fair for me to drag you into it. I can't make you say yes to this. I can only describe like what the world is and what your situation is. But it's up to you to make that yes or no decision. You know, you saw how I dropped the other client, Kay, when I saw, hey, you know what, your heart's not in this. You don't want this bad enough. I can't work with that. You know, because I want this for you, and like I said, you don't succeed, I succeed. But I need you to want this for yourself. And if that's not the case, then you know that's fine. You know, because it's your interview. It's what you want to do. And I'm just being honest with you. Like, if you want this to happen, I will do everything I can to make it happen, and we can do this together. But if you don't want this to happen, then that's fine. We can call it here, and we don't have to do Facebook and Uber. But the cost is just 10 days of your life, but the benefit is 4 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I felt burned out, but it wasn't like I decided that not to do it. I definitely, like, not gonna lie, I had the thoughts of like, you know what, I can stop here. But I feel like I'm already at the point where like, it's not like I'm there yet, but like I'm so close. I might as well do it. Yeah, and like the other thing I worry about too is just like having you do all this work with me, and then like Facebook isn't able to get back to me in time to give me an interview in time that and then like I have deadlines coming up to like give answer to Google or like Uber. Yeah, because my manager's been trying hard to like get it. Like, cause I already told him like, you know, I'm gonna meet with like the Amazon like hiring manager as well. So he's already like escalated it. Cause he definitely doesn't want me to go. But like I feel like it's also like not entirely in his power to like get one. So that's the other thing I worry too.
Okay. Do me a favor. Do I have you on LinkedIn? I'm gonna pull a string.
I don't think I do have you on LinkedIn.
Okay. Let's see.
I can send you.
Yeah, send it to me. I'm gonna forward your resume. I'm gonna forward you to two of the recruiters. Okay, I connected you. Let me do this right now. Don't worry about like wasting my time. I'd rather we take every single shot we can, because I don't want to leave this and say, oh shit, we should have done this. Oh shit, we didn't take this shot. If we take every shot we can and we fail, I'm happy with that. I'd rather do it than just like, you know, not at all. So let me do this. Let me message.
Did you connect?
I sent you a connection. Did you get that?
No, I'm looking at my network and I don't see your request.
Okay.
Coming in.
Fuck.
Oh, I see it now.
Okay, you got it? Cool.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and send some emails.
Yeah, I guess that's the latency.
That's fine.
LinkedIn.
Hey, now you know how this why latency works. Yeah, system design, right?
Yeah. Should I also like? I think I don't think you have my resume, right? I should probably share it to you. But it's already in the system. There is like the recruiters know about it, but they just haven't been able to get to it yet.
All right, let me send this message really quick. Give me 30 seconds. Okay, let me go ahead and let me do this. Okay, and then let me send one more message to another person.
Okay.
Actually, okay, I sent it to her, and then let me get Jocelyn. She can probably pull something. Okay.
Yeah, if you're reaching out to people who are recruiters at Facebook, you can probably let them know that it's already in the system. I was referred by an employee, like I think like 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Okay, let me send this, and then... Okay, so I sent it to people. They should be able to do something within 24 to 48 hours. Hopefully. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so I sent that to...
Yeah, I mean, either way, I appreciate you doing this.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So let's see if things escalate on their end from that. And so, like, I just need to know. I want you to give this some time. Don't feel like I'm pressuring you into doing something you don't want. Like, I'm saying, don't worry about like bridges that we haven't crossed yet. I'm saying to I want to know if you are willing to just push those options forward.
What do you mean by push those options forward?
Like, give it your all for the next 10 days to get Uber, to get Facebook, and then with one last punch, get Google to an L4 if we want to cross that bridge.
Yeah, I definitely want to do it. I'm just also afraid of like failing as well. And like disappointing. But yeah, I definitely do want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry about the failure, because you know what? If you don't take the shot, then you failed already.
Yeah. It's just like I feel like on like a system design path, like I feel like I'm so like behind, or like not close to ready. That's why I like that's the other part. Like I'm just thinking about.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's do one mock system design right now and see how you feel. Because you know, I'll show you something. So the overlapping rectangles, blah blah blah, fine. But you notice like when we did the last system design interview, all we really talked about was, instead of like trying to think about the user structure, we're gonna have to think about the ways users can destroy our system, essentially, right? And we're also just gonna, the only things that we're gonna add, like you know sharding, right? All we're gonna add now is caching, load balancing, and then maybe some ingestion pipelines. Are you familiar with those ideas?
By ingestion, do you mean something like message streams?
Yes.
I'm not sure like what you mean by okay.
Yes. Are you familiar with all these?
Yeah, like on like a basic level, yeah.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I can. Yeah, I'm familiar with like the like basic level on like all these. Like it's like I probably won't be able to go like that deep into it, but I'm trying my best.
No, you just have to know they exist and know where to put them.
Yeah.
That's it. Do you think you can do that?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to give you a problem. I want you to run through this as naturally as you think you can, and then I want to show you something, because I think you.
Okay.
I'm 80. I would say 70% confident that you can do this. We just need to tweak a little something.
Okay. Can we use Excalibur?
Yep. All right. Let me boot it up for you.
Sure.
All right. Okay. Let me go ahead and get the canvas.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to share something about the Google Onsite. I just want to do a quick brag on like the last one.
Sure.
I felt pretty great on like the last coding round, because I basically like finished everything the interview wanted to ask in like 30 minutes, and he basically said like he has no other questions to ask, and he like I even did like all of his follow-ups, and then he just let me ask him questions, and then even after that we ended up like 10 minutes earlier, and like the allocated time.
Yeah, man, fucking brag. Like you earned it. You earned the right to brag. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like why
great.
not?
Yeah. The only part I didn't do that well was on like the third interview. Like I definitely solved like the initial problems. Like I just wasn't able to like do like the follow ups.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like when I told you like I feel like I did okay. So like how I felt was like if I solved like most of it, but I didn't solve everything optimally, or like I didn't do like everything perfectly, then I would kind of rate myself as okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if I like did everything like perfectly, then I would say I did well. That was the last interview, and then like the third one was when I like wasn't able to do as good
Mm-hmm.
as the other ones. That's why I kind of rated like I said like I struggled a little on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But overall like after the interviews, I definitely felt pretty relaxed. If anything, like I didn't feel like Amazon because like I remember like doing Amazon like after doing Amazon like I was like completely like out of it. Like I wasn't able to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because they also do a lot of behavioral, but Google
Mm-hmm.
is just like one behavioral and like everything else is like pretty focused on coding.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got you. All right, so let's do this. Are you familiar with cron jobs?
Yeah, I am.
Great. Then this is gonna be a nice one. So let me go ahead and do this. So I want you to design a fault tolerant cron.
Where are you typing?
Wait, are you? I shared the link with you in Zoom chat.
Oh, in Zoom chat. Okay.
Did you?
Let me, hold up. I didn't know you shared it in Zoom chat.
Okay.
Okay, I see it. I see you.
So I want you to design a fault tolerant cron job scheduler. So for instance, at like hour, minute, second, every single day, we want to echo hello world. Now, obviously, if we were to just keep a server running of like, oh yeah, for this program, while time does not equal 0, whatever, then we want to. Then that would just hold the thread, right? And that would be very inefficient. Instead, we want to schedule these jobs to run whenever we want it to, right? So let's say that for instance, 00 job starts, 0002 node fails, and then let's say 0003 node recovers, and then 0004 node job retries. So we want to be able to at least retry our system. But the rest of it, I'll leave it up to you.
Okay, so you're saying, I just want to clarify some stuff. So, your example is that for example, at 12 midnight, we want to echo hello world. And when you say 002, are you saying like after 2 minutes, the node fails and then it recovers in a minute and then it retries to do that echo?
Yeah. This is like what can potentially happen in your system. And so I only use echo hello world as an example.
Okay.
Like in a real company, right? These would be used for a company to run report jobs that run overnight.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Makes sense. So like I guess like before diving into, I kind of want to understand like the scope better. Like are we designing this as like a single use, like a single company, just like they just want to run some reports, or is this like something being used globally by a lot of users, stuff like that?
So any user can schedule a cron job, right? So like say at Facebook, if someone wants to schedule a cron job, like, hey, I want to run this report, and then someone else says, I want to run a report with different parameters.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I'll like kind of narrow it down and like say like this is something that is well, say we're designing a internal cron job scheduler. We have something similar at Facebook as well, and I kind of set up a lot of cron jobs as well. So let's say I'm just gonna write this here. Internal use. Employees or like basically anyone developers can set up cron jobs. What else? They can obviously edit it, delete. I'm just trying to see like what kind of options they can do. So I guess like fault tolerant is like the big thing here. We want to make sure that they don't fail. Okay, so let's see. Cron jobs. Okay, well, I guess like when you mention like fault tolerance, I imagine that we have like definitely like more than just one node. That way like we can kind of have like backups in case everything fails. So let me just like begin with like a very simple solution. Let's just go with something. Let's see. wait, how do I select? Okay. So I'm just gonna have like a few squares. Right. Okay. So we're gonna have like for now I'm just gonna keep it simple. We have like a main API server or like web server that deals with like the actual requests of like scheduling one. Like
Oh, do you need
yeah,
assets?
basically yeah.
Okay,
I'm just
so
like struggling with like the I'm just struggling with the cursor.
Sure. I'm gonna add some assets for you just in case. DNS. CN. Server. Application server. Message queue. Yep. All right.
Yeah, so like right now I'm thinking like pretty simple use case. Like if we only have like 10 or like one or two teams, like we have like a application server here, and then like maybe we have like a few nodes. Like for example, I'm just giving 3 here, and these nodes are basically capable of running any type of job that it's that the user schedules it to run. Now I'm not too familiar as to like how the actual scheduling works behind the scenes, but I'm just gonna assume that we have some kind of program that we could kind of insert into these nodes that will allow them to run at that specific time, and obviously like based on the user input that configures like at what intervals they run it. Is it custom? Is it like scheduled? And like at what day during the week and stuff like that. I guess like I imagine like we would probably want to store like some of these information, so we definitely want to have like a database. But I'm just trying to think like the amount of data that we're storing is probably like not that much, because like we're mostly storing like instructions, and pretty much like the nodes are basically there to execute. Like say for example, I want the script to be executed, but the nodes are basically responsible for just executing the script, but they're not responsible for like storing like all the like extra stuff, like whatever the user wants to do. So let's see. We have a application server, a few nodes. Okay, so I guess like the part where we need to be careful about is dealing with the fault tolerance. So say user A comes in, they want to schedule like the cron job to run Hello World every midnight, and say we send that to node 1, and node 1 kind of responds and say like, hey, we got the message. In an ideal world, we can kind of expect node 1 to like run it every day, but that's not always the case. So I guess like we would always want like definitely more than one. So I'm thinking like 2 scenarios here. One is that I have like a few nodes receive the same message. The other option I'm thinking is that we have some kind of like managing system that knows like that keeps track of like all the jobs that we need to run. And like every time it hits like a time frame, for example, when it's 12 midnight, I know that 2 jobs need to be ran.
Right.
And if I don't receive like information from like 2 nodes saying like they're running a job, that means like something's wrong. I'm just trying to see like which one of these 2 options work better, and if they're like actually mutually exclusive.
Okay, so let's I think you fleshed out the basic idea of it. So let's walk through it. You say you have an API server, and then you want to have this server send jobs to node 1, node 2, node 3, correct?
Yeah. So basically, it's responsible for just like taking user input and like send out the instructions to these nodes that will then as of like the current design, these nodes will then save these instructions in their system, and when the time comes, they will execute it.
Okay. So essentially, these nodes are more like executors. Is that right? Or
pretty much runners, executors. I would just say runner because they run something, but they may not need to store information like extra. Like for example, like they only need to run a script, but if the script does like extra stuff, like writing to the backend, that's something that is I guess like I'm assuming like if there's any interaction between the script and the backend, that's something that will be handled by whoever writes the script, as well as like the underlying framework provided by the database team.
Okay. So these nodes are scheduling, and then they will run the jobs somewhere. Is that more or less?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So you really have our executors here. And so now, how do you want to manage the job? So like, what's the format of how are you going to save these jobs? You know, because I imagine you're going to need some kind of database and you want to store the jobs themselves, the metadata, or at least or something about them. How do you want to store that? How do you want to make that persistent? Because what happens if the server goes down and restarts? And
yeah. So let me add a new layer here. So I'm trying to drag this out. Okay, so currently we only have the at the very basic design, we only have the application server. But I guess like because we need to be like tolerant to faults. I assume we want to write to like an actual database. Let me copy this, separate out here. This is how do I type? Okay, I can type in there. I'm just gonna type it outside of it, but say this is a database for storing. Let's see. So I'm just gonna list out. We want to store like the list of jobs or instructions we receive from user. And what else? We want to store like the nodes that we have available. So it'll be like kind of like nodes like metadata, or like you could say like config as well. And do you want me to kind of go into like what the schema will kind of look like?
So yeah, a little bit of schema, because I'm a little bit confused about this node metadata config. Are you saying that you want a predetermined node to run the job?
So yeah, that was the pretty basic design, but like as we continue to move on, like there's obviously drawbacks to that, and like since now that we are writing to a persistent storage, we can obviously do it differently in a way such that when it's time to run, I pick a node at that time to run it, rather than like pre-assigning that node like say 24 or 48 hours ahead, and say like run this in 24 hours. But before we go into that, I can kind of like talk about like what kind of like information we want to store.
Sure, go ahead.
For like these jobs. So obviously like we have the basic stuff like name, and say we can have like region, because like for example, I imagine like some users may want to run this job at a specific region, so we can just have that there, but we could have a default region, and also it has the actual command to execute, like whatever script it needs to run, and then we probably want to do additional stuff like just for ACL purposes, we can have like owner or like the on-call in case like it goes wrong. And then we also want like I guess like concurrency limit. This is mainly for like I can have a job and it could be doing something, but I could potentially run like say up to 5 instances of the same job to process something. And this could be this could be 1 or it could be 20 depending on like how the user wants to configure it. And I guess like we can also set like additional stuff like do we want to drop off additional instances if we hit that limit. So these are like the pretty basic information I imagine they're storing. As for like the node metadata, I guess like we'll have like with some nodes. I guess like we will have like each node's like IP address. This is kind of like what I'm imagining. IP address. What else? I guess you could say like storage. I guess like operating system OS. Yeah, these are just gonna say like these basic information that we'll be storing in the database. Now, like you mentioned, we don't want to pre-assign a node, right? And in that case, we would need to basically maintain like a master list of like jobs we need to run. Because like if we write it to the persistent storage, I don't want to be pulling from the storage every 5 to 10 minutes to get like what job I need to run next. So I need some kind of like solution for me to know, almost like real time to know like, oh, in the next 5 to 10 minutes I need to run this job and that job.
So then
let's see. Let's see. What I want to like, I'm thinking like about having like different like, I guess like you could say job scheduler.
That's basically what a cron job scheduler is. So
yeah.
Okay.
But I guess from a user perspective, like they go to the UI, but this is like our internal like component that actually manages like the scheduling. So this component will also have access to the is it not? I'm trying to drag this box.
Yep. Okay.
So I imagine like this is something that will work together with the application server, and obviously it would also work with the database to know what
So
to.
does this line doesn't actually belong to application server. It actually belongs to manager then, right?
Yeah, I'm about to move it as well.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, because our initial solution was pretty simple. So this is something that will look like. We have this application server taking inputs and stuff like that, and this is the actual component that does the scheduling. Now I guess like what I imagine it to be is that this currently like I imagine like everything will be managed in this scheduler. Obviously that becomes a problem when the volume is high, but let's say we go with that now. When it hits like 12 midnight, and I know I need to execute 2 jobs, I basically pick from the list of available nodes. I'll basically maintain like a list of available nodes to kind of choose from, and I'll basically send them that like information to do so. And I guess like I would expect like a acknowledgement from them in order to say like, okay, this this job has started. So say I sent to node 1 at 12 midnight, and then they send me back a acknowledgement. I'm gonna assume that it's gonna be running. And if they don't send it back to me, I assume that like say we have a timeout policy of like 3 to 5 minutes. I guess we can go with like 3 minutes. If we don't get it that like, I guess no, we want it to be quicker because like we want to know if that node actually received that message and they're ready to execute it or not. So I would say like I would put it like maybe like 60 seconds. If we don't receive an acknowledgement within 60 seconds, that means that node is not ready to execute that job, or they just simply didn't receive that information.
Right.
And we probably want to send it to a different new node. Now the problem becomes, okay, what if node 1 actually did receive it, but that request failed on the way back, and now we have 2 nodes executing the same script, but you know that might cause a problem depending on like what the script is intended to do.
Sure.
Let's see, if that becomes the case, that means we have to be more diligent in terms of like giving out instructions. So basically all nodes need to agree on like what they're running in order to know in order so that they don't run into conflict.
So you're saying that if node, it's going to try saying to node 1, right? Node 1 says like fails to respond to this job schedule manager, like say network outage or something, right? But it's still running the job scheduler. Are you saying and then you're saying it goes to node 2?
Yeah, because job scheduler's job is to basically send requests to nodes to tell them like, hey, run this specific script or like run this command. And like what I mentioned is that we send it to node 1 to run it. No one received that instruction and they are ready to run it, but they failed to send that acknowledgement back. Now, based on our timeout policy, we assume that they weren't able to run it, and so we send that same instruction to node 2, which tries to execute that script. And depending on like what that script does, this might actually cause an issue. And that's why I mentioned like I said we need a better way of like managing.
Why not just kill the job? I'll run jobs on that node before you run the next job. Or you can queue it up. Because it doesn't matter if it's like 2 or... Okay. The reason why I'm interjecting right now... Oh, go ahead.
So, okay. I see what you're doing. So, instead of like this... I guess like instead of the scheduler telling these nodes what to do, I'm also kind of imagining like, would it be beneficial for us to kind of have like a message stream here to deliver these instructions to the nodes instead?
Okay.
Let's see. I guess like the benefit is that the job scheduler no longer needs to care about like which node to assign it to, and all it cares about is like basically sending the message into the pipeline, and then the pipeline would deal with like the actual delivery.
Sure.
And like we know that with most like messaging apps, they often provide the guarantee of like at least delivered once. So we know that these messages will get delivered for sure. Okay. I guess like the issue becomes like I send it to node 1, and then node 1 fails after 2 minutes. Now, if it recovers, that's fine because it will continue to retry it. Now the issue is more so when it doesn't recover.
Okay. I'm going to pause here because it's 4 minutes left, but I want to show you something very interesting.
Okay.
You look at this answer. And I imagine if I gave you more time on it, I mean, I only gave you like what 17, like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm sure like you would have come with a like flesh this all out later, right? I'm gonna show you something. But it'll let me import the image. Hold up, let me do that. Give me a second. Image options. Actually, let me snip this really quickly. I think you'll find this very interesting. Okay, new image. Let me go ahead and open this, and is it gonna, oh, where is it? Where'd it go?
I didn't see anything.
Fuck. The fuck. Wait, is it in the library then? God damn it.
Did you paste something?
Yeah, I'm trying to show it to you actually, but damn it. It's here. Come on, man. Damn it. Nope. It didn't like that? Okay, I guess it didn't like that. Actually, I'll paste it in the Google Sheet. I want to show you something.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay. You on the sheet?
Yeah, I'm on a sheet.
Look at this. Look at your solution, side by side. That's the answer I have. Your answer comes pretty goddamn close.
Oh, okay. We have the application, I guess, like, yeah, web server, application server, and then we have a scheduler, messaging stream that does the executor. We have a database we write to. So yeah, I guess like it's pretty similar in terms of like the high level. It's just that yours is, I guess like it has more details and it's more clear, like what you're trying to convey. Like I can see like you define like the functional requirements. You also declare like the scope. Like the scalable, the fault tolerant. You basically like set up like the actual numbers, like global retry up to 3 times. Yeah, I get. Yeah, okay. It seems actually pretty similar. It's just that you have like well-defined details that I don't.
Yep, that's it. I wanted to show you this, and you came up with this on your own. I didn't like fucking draw this on like I didn't fucking draw this like while you're doing it. This literally answer I had pre-prepared for this answer. You came pretty goddamn close. The only difference was, like you said, the functional and non-functional requirements, the SQL job, which just means that, like, and you started figuring out, hey, wait a minute, what happens if we have like the job status? How are we going to track that? You already started thinking of that. That's really the only difference. Like, it's just really these extra steps that you need to take.
Yeah,
but
I guess it's also like you mentioned that when you're at that level, you're able to like kind of skip these and like you're able to like arrive at those conclusions a lot quicker. But for me, I had to like kind of like start with that very like bare bones solution, and then I'm like, oh wait, this would not work, and then we have to add this, and like it just takes me longer to arrive at the same solution.
That's fine. Like eventually you will get there, but I'm saying that if you really put your mind to it for this next week, you can actually get there very, very well quickly. And I'm gonna say you can ping Valid, you can ping Pavel on the server. They've both gone through this process, but I'm trying to show you, you can do this. Your answer came pretty goddamn close, right? And that was within like what, 20 minutes? Imagine I give you another 10 minutes. I think you would have hit this.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. So like how else would, so aside from reading from DDI, I feel like reading on DDI is good in terms of like it gives me information it gives me tools to work off to use during these interviews. But like, do you have any like recommendations into like how I can practice system design? Do you think it's helpful for me to try out practice questions? For example, I just like go online and look up like when they say like design Instagram, and I'll like kind of practice on my own. What do you think?
Yep. Do grokking the system design. Have you done that?
I have it, but I haven't really like done it.
I want you to approach it the same way we did our grokking other stuff. I want you to like read it, like go through it. I'm surprised, yeah, because we mostly did like products. So what I want you to do is like kind of just like go through it, read through it like casually. There's a second glossary of system design basics. Read through that very briefly. See if like hey, I know what this is. Hey, I know what this is. And if you know what this is, then move on. Like there's cap theorem, consistent polling, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah, all these different other things. But I want you to try some of these problems.
Okay. Yeah, I've read through most of like the basic caching, load balancing. I've read through like the grokking like second part of it where they talk about the different concepts.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't finish like the part where they actually tried out all the different problems.
I want you to just give this give this a shot. Like I'm showing you right now, you can do this. All I'm saying is try it like with a few problems here. And I think you'll surprise yourself after like 4 or 5 problems.
Okay. All right. I'll continue to read on DGIA and grokking.
I would say focus on this. Right now we wanted to get the actual execution down. So I highly recommend you at least give this a shot. Let me know on, well, maybe not Saturday or Sunday. Maybe Sunday. How you feel, and then we can go from there. But I'm telling you, man, you have it in you. You just have to want it. And I'm hoping that you coming up with this cron job thing showed you that, hey, it's just a little bit of time, but you give it your all for the next 10 days, you'll get there. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. For that, at time, I want you to just focus on relaxing, work, do the breathing exercise, and just give these a shot. So, any questions?
No. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, sounds good. And good job on Google and Amazon. Let's make magic together, man.
Okay, talk to you later.
Thanks, talk to you later.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, next. Okay, so we got one more guy. And so this is going to be like a prospective client. We are going to see if he's going to be a fit for what I'm trying to do here. So let's see. Maybe we take him on as a client.
Recording in
January.
progress.
Maybe not. Let's take a look. Let's see if he shows up.
Recording stopped.
All right, I guess while we're waiting for him, any questions so far? Anything from the crowd? I'm all ears. Any thoughts about with the session that we just did? Any thoughts, concerns, comments, anything you want? Hello, crickets. I'm hearing some fucking crickets, yo. What's up? What? All right, whatever. Cool. All right, he's on. Hey, man. Hello? I can't hear you. Oh, hello?
Hey, hi. Edbert, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hey, hi. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, actually.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So I understand you signed up for long-term coaching. And this is just kind of like a introduction, get to know you, see if we're a good fit together. This is not an obligation to sign up, and it's not a coaching session. It's just mostly like I said, get to know you. So we cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so give me a little bit about yourself. Tell me how you found me, what you're looking for, and why you feel like you need long-term help from me.
Actually, so I have been, I've been in the IT industry for like 6 or 7 years, and I have studied really hard for cracking interviews and doing problem solving. So I've done a lot, but the thing that I miss a lot, and that's something that I listened to your videos and I got to know things about you, that the solving a problem is like a journey, right? We usually I try to focus on the answer or the solution more than the actual approach, and that's just what I miss. I mostly spend time in like getting to reach to the solution first, rather than finding the correct approach and building that approach in mind.
Yep.
And that is something that I missed. And when I watched your video, all these things you mentioned in your videos, and I read your book as well, and all those videos that you have shared with the people that you have done interviews with, and basically the approach to solve. And I've seen some of your videos as well, but where how you took different approaches to solve one problem, and how you actually go to that solution, that whole journey, that was really kind of attracted me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what something that was missing from my end,
Okay.
because anytime a new problem comes in an interview, I don't know how to approach it,
Mm-hmm.
because I haven't built that approach yet. So
Yep.
building that approach is something that I was missing, and I'm kind of doing that right now. That grokking the coding interview that you suggested, I started doing it, and it kind of helps me. Uh, and gradually, I'm solving problems, doing things over and over again, as you said,
Mm-hmm.
and with the same pattern, so that the approach gets built.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's so basically all your thoughts and approaches that you have said in all your videos kind of like attracted me. I really
Yep.
wanted to have a conversation. I didn't think that you actually replied to me. So I was kind of really happy when you replied to me my message and my email
Cool. Yeah.
basically.
Anyway, yeah. So I'm glad to hear that it helped you and that you really found it useful. So I'm glad. Now I do mention in long-term coaching, before you apply, that you have to at least taken a good shot at everything I've done in the document, and that you've gone through grokking, you've done EPI, and you are basically at your wit's end. So, but it sounds like you only just got started with
Yeah,
my
that's
material.
true.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say this. I want you to give this a good run on your own. I want you
Okay.
to give this like 2-3 months, right? You study really hard. You give it a shot, because I firmly believe that if you really try everything that my doc says, and you really execute on it, you can land a job anywhere. And
Okay.
all I do here with my coaching sessions, and I make them available for free, you can watch them, right? Is really just help you unblock yourself from any of the, oh, I'm like, I swear I'm doing all this, but I'm still being blocked, you know? And you see me, hey, simplify the example, hey, talk it out, go from naive to optimal. All these little mental models are really meant to get around these tricks. And there's no secret, right? There's only like maybe like 3-4 models that we use to try and unstuck ourselves. But all these things I talk about can really be boiled down to just that. And I really want you to give this a fair shake, because, you know, if you get me involved, it's like, it's a whole different ball game. I'm going to demand so much from you. I'm going to demand not just that, like, and I'm pretty fairly expensive compared to the industry. Like, you know, I'll tell you this much. You know, you go to Interview Kickstart, they charge $5,000. You go to like Calico or something like that, they charge you like 10%, like 7% of your salary, and make you apply 25 places a week, and then they will say, hey, if you have an offer for over $55,000, you're good, and we're done here, right? For me, I'm aiming to basically break records, right? But I basically start off at 12. I start off at 12%. So it's basically high and above the industry, but my results speak for themselves, you know. Like I don't know if you watched the stream, but right now we're on stream, and the last guy I showed, 1 year of experience, beat the record for Amazon. Literally, his offer for that is broke the levels that FYI bans. Google wants him. They got back to him in 24 hours. All my other past clients, Valid, he 4 years of experience, senior engineer, you know, at Box, got it from Tesla, and then one other place as well, I think Credit Karma or something. And then Pavel, 8 years of experience, stuck at IBM, and then, you know, with me after 3 months, gets a staff engineering job at Wayfair. Number 3 highest offer in his country.
Nice.
Across every single company. Apple, Google, his offer beats all that. So
Nice.
this is so my when you work with me, you're getting the best, but I'm demanding a lot too. And one of the tenets that I have is that I cannot want this more than you. You know, you have to really, really want it, and you're willing to give up a lot for it, you know. And if you give me that, then I can give you results. But it sounds like you haven't explored all that. Yeah, it sounds like you haven't really gone out and tried everything that I've talked about. Because I want people who come to me to be hungry, like almost on the edge of starvation. Like, I need you, Edbert, and if I don't make it, I will die out here. You know, that's basically I want what people. Those are the kind of people I want to work with, and I'm absolutely willing to do that. But to me, it sounds like you're struggling. Now you kind of found some light, and you're still trying to figure it out yourself.
Okay.
So I want you to do this 3 months, and then contact me. But yeah, like anything else?
No, I mean, so yeah, I'll try to whatever things that you have mentioned, I will try to do that. And after 3 months, once I'm like a little confident on what I'm doing, then I can start send you another email. Is that sound good?
Yeah. And if you like need a help, like a little pick me up, I will do individual coaching sessions. That's on my website. But if you still find yourself absolutely stuck and you need me, then we can talk about it. Because like I need you to make sure that you gave this a fair shake. So.
Okay. Sounds good. Edward. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your help.
Yeah, for sure. And if you haven't joined the Discord, I highly recommend it. Lots of people in there, lots of smart people. Blue Plates has recently like come back online. He is a L7 manager at Facebook, so he can give you a lot of insight as well.
Join what, Edward?
The Discord. Do you know? It's in this. Here, let me send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. I'm usually pretty active on there, so if you want to reach out to me directly or participate in the chat, I would highly suggest it. I highly recommend you also like contribute to there as well. You have lots of work experience, so I'm sure like all the younger people would definitely love to hear from that as well.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll save this link then.
Yeah. So, any other questions?
No, that would be. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Edward.
Yeah. Hit me up in 3 months, and let me know how things go.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, Edward.
Right. Sounds good. Talk to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Okay. If there are there any final questions? Yeah, it looks like it wasn't really a match. Looks like he wasn't like the kind of client I was looking for, but hopefully things change in 3 months. And he's gonna want it. But yeah. If there are any questions? Going once. Going twice. 3? Well. All right. Well, you know what? With that, I guess we'll stop the stream. Doesn't seem like there's any other questions from there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this stream. We will probably be back on, maybe not Monday, depends on what R wants to do. Oh, please consider me for long-term client. Yeah, I'm planning on doing something for interns. I haven't quite worked it out yet. Right now I'm still mostly focused on like, individual clients, but one of my concerns is that if I start diluting what I'm doing here in order to try and expand and scale, I lose the ability to consistently get you guys the offers. That's not something I'm really willing to part with. And it's a problem that a lot of people run into, actually, especially like, for instance, in the fashion industry, let's say that you make a runway dress and everyone wants the dress that you put on the runway, right? Then the next thing to do is, well, what then? Are you just going to do another runway show? Once you go to the showroom, if you want to like make money and not be a starving artist, you need to scale it, right? And this is the problem I'm running into. I haven't quite figured out how to scale it in a very effective way, Like, I have coaching sessions for any interns or students who want to watch it. I have a live stream, right? You guys are all seeing his progress, and if you guys really want to invest your time and energy into it, you can watch the past streams and see the progression. I make no secrets about these things. So my question now is, how do I deliver, like, this same in-person coaching value without actually being in person, you know what I mean? Like, on a one-on-one thing. So if you have any suggestions on how I can do this, I would love to hear from you. But to me, it's I want to keep my integrity above everything else. So it's a problem that I've been working on for like 6 months. This streaming thing was hopefully the first step for that. And I'm glad to see that there's so many people. I have like 8 viewers right now. Like, this is like if you told me like 6 months ago that I would have 8 viewers watching me, I'd say like, okay, yeah, that's I expected like 3 or 4, But 8 people, I'm very flattered, so I appreciate that. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, feel free to throw it out. I'm still working on it from my side, but you're not going to see anything until like maybe mid-January or February at the earliest. But I will try to, at least get more clients here. But I really want quality clients. I think you remember like a few weeks ago, I dropped some guy because I didn't feel like he wanted it enough. He just wanted the work. He wanted the work-life balance instead of actually wanting to, get results. But you can see here the difference between him and R. R like wanted the results, and he's wanted the results for a long time. And I felt that today's session was to do is to show him, hey, give me a little bit more. You can make this pay off for years. You don't have to worry about it for 1 year or 2 years. You don't have to worry about it for 4 years. You can focus on whatever you want for those next 4 years. So really, it's just about managing mental state, like here, and it's something that you can't put into a coaching session. Being able to handle someone's mentality like that and really understand the mental state they're in and their psychology is almost just as big as like putting in the effort. It's half the battle, right? They say mentality is half the battle, but it's not just like, oh, I'm going to go, 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 go. It's go, go, go smart in a right way. And that's the problem that I can't really figure out. Maybe I need to like talk to a psych major or something. But yeah, this is issue I'm blocked on. So you know what? With that, I guess we'll stop the stream. I guess people really enjoyed it. We might not stream on Monday, depending on how R feels. I think that doing these coaching sessions does take a lot out of him. And so I kind of want to make sure that he's clear for Uber on Tuesday. I think he'll show up on Thursday, but we'll have like another chit chat session before he goes into Facebook. So keep a lookout for that tentative schedule. Stay connected with me on Discord. That's usually where I respond the most. If not, follow me on Twitter. I mostly just tweet idiocy and just whatever crazy thoughts come out of my head. But until then, you know what? Stay in touch, guys. Hopefully see you next time, and thanks for joining.